Hey everybody, I wanted to share one of my favorite things my dad used to make around the holidays. He made it all the time. It's good old-fashioned 70's clam dip. I'm going to call it a seafood dip because I put smoked oysters in it and things like that. But anyway, what I've started out with here is I've already got the oysters in, and this is 3 ounce, yeah, so 12 ounces of smoked oysters. And I always put the juice in with that. With the clams, you don't want to do that. The clams, and this is a really good amount, 14 ounces, drained weight, right? But the juice, I don't throw it out. I'm not going to put it in the clam dip either because it'd be too liquidy. But the thing is, if you're going to make any Bloody Marys, you add a little of this to your tomato juice. Oh, yay. So anyway, so it's not for everybody, but I definitely like it. So the first thing I'm going to do is go ahead and dump my clams in there. And I've got a couple of knives, relatively sharp, and I'm going to sort of mince them up. It's just easier than getting my hands in it. I'm trying to hold these little slimy oysters. And yeah, it doesn't have to be perfect. And this is not a strict recipe. So don't worry about getting the proportions absolutely right. I do like to have fairly good sized chunks of oysters in there, but not too big, because I want the flavor to spread, so you get that smoky flavor. And hey, by all means, if you want to go and get yourself 2 dozen extra small Hog Island oysters, fresh, and shuck them, and then smoke them, and go through that whole rigmarole. Help yourself, and then go clamming too. But otherwise, it's coming out of the can, and it tastes just fine. So, like anything could be improved upon. All right, so then I've got about 7 stalks of wild onions, cut real fine, and about a half a handful, one of my hands anyway, of some fresh dill. You don't have to use that much dill when you're doing this because it's with the fresh dill, it goes a long way, so that's nice. So put that in there. Right, and then the old 70's secret weapon, Lipton onion soup, right? You could do your own bouillon, and I've done it without, adding this, but there's something about it I just kind of, it brings back memories, so, what the hell. Anyway, just dump that in. Now, there's a lot of salt in that, so you don't want to add too much. Now I'm going to do some liquid aminos in with that too. And what liquid aminos and soy does is it kind of opens up the flavor. Not too much, but not too little either. It kind of gives it this sort of a round, bold flavor that's really, really nice. I like a little bit of kick. If you got people around that don't like spice, don't add spice. And I put a little bit of Mexican ketchup or Tapatio, my favorite hot sauce. Cannot live without it. And then some Himalayan rock salt. I know you're saying, wow, that's a lot of salty stuff you're putting in there, but honestly, look at the amount of cottage cheese and sour cream that I'm going to put in there, so I'm not too worried about it. Now, this was something, it was always just, sour cream before, when my dad used to make it. I came up with the idea of going 50-50 cottage cheese and sour cream and then mixing that together because it, it cuts the fat by probably, 25%, maybe a little bit more. So that's kind of nice. But it's it also just kind of helps with the flavor. I mean, this is already, you know, it's a heavy dish, you know, and it's just a clam dip. So, you know, lightening it up with the cottage cheese, you'd be really surprised. A lot of people are like, cottage cheese, ew, that's gross. But no, it's kind of awesome. So anyway, let's start with the sour cream. And just scoop the whole thing in there. And this is, how much is this container? 3 pounds, 48 ounces. It's a lot of sour cream. Definitely does not need more of that. And I suppose if you wanted to, you know, be super healthy, I have not tried this, but I would not be afraid to try it either, is to use some Greek yogurt instead of the sour cream. And I bet that would come out just fantastic. So, everybody's always worried about, like, you know, are you going to do this exactly to the recipe? I can't stand that. Now, I'll read the recipe before I do something, if there's one to be found. And, you know, study the ingredients, this and that. And as soon as I've done reading it, I just, you know, basically put the recipe aside and do my own thing. My clam dip is almost never the same twice, so, which is fine. That's the way I like it. Okay, so, in a good mix. This part kind of takes a while. If you want to use a beater, that's fine. You don't really have to worry about, you know, getting the consistency messed up by over beating it or something like that. But oh, and there's one other thing, you know, you know how you go to the store and say, oh, you know, what did I forget? What did I forget? I forgot garlic. So, you know, a clove of minced garlic would have been nice in this, but, you know, some of your guests might appreciate that that was omitted too. You've already got a lot of onions in there. So, but this has just always been a great family thing to have around the holidays, or and it's better when the weather's cold because it's not sitting out in the sun, sort of a thing. But yeah, basically, I mean, I'll take any excuse to make clam dip. I love this stuff. So, all right, and that basically is it. Now the thing is too, this is going to get more flavorful as it stands. So I'm going to cover this and put it in the refrigerator. And you know, there's a lot of the dried onions in the Lipton mix, and then you know, just it takes a while for the flavors to sort of open up in there. So give it a little time before you start adding salt or anything like that, which you can always do if you want it saltier or less salty. You know, adjust the recipe next time. Don't add as much. It's probably better to add it at the end. I just kind of, with this particular dish, I kind of know what I'm doing, so I don't care. Anyway, always comes out really good. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone, and I hope you enjoy it.